Imagine That, the podcast where we explore the magic behind the magic of your favorite theme parks. Join us as we pull back the curtain on the creative process, storytelling, and design principles that make Disney parks and beyond so immersive. Whether you're a lifelong fan, a curious creative, or just love spotting the details most people miss, you're in the right place. So get ready to tap into your imagination as we take a deeper dive into the lands, attractions, and stories that bring the parks to life. Let's imagine that together. Welcome to another episode of Imagine That. I'm your host, Amanda, and we are going to be talking about Frontierland. And we have some thoughts about Frontierland. So we're going to break it all down for you today, how we can plus our existing Frontierland and what are some of our favorite elements that we want to keep in the park. So we're going to do a little bit of overall diving into the land as well as armchair imagineering. So sit tight for that. But before we get started, we want to thank our sponsors, Sunken City Design, Getaway Today, and We're in the Park. And as always, special shout out to the Lamplighters. Patreon's keeping us going and continuing those conversations over on our absolutely free Discord. And if you have not done so already, just scroll down to the show notes and join us. It's absolutely free. And we are in there all the time talking all things Disney. So before we dive into Frontierland, let's go around the room and say hi to the rest of the crew. Sam, how's it going?
It's good. It's good. I'm glad to be talking Frontierland. I get to poke at Lou a little bit tonight, so it'll be good.
Always a fun time when you can
poke at Lou. Yep.
And speaking of Lou, how's it going tonight?
You know, not only is Sam ahead of us on time, but by default, she's ahead of us by lands now because she gets to do this, and I'm not ready for this. Like, I'm on the ropes with no energy, and I'm not ready. But I am ready for this overall show. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, you got this. I know your gears have been turning about this for some time, especially after last episode. If you have not gone back and listened to our last Imagine That episode about Adventureland, Lou had some thoughts that will pertain to this episode as well. So be sure to go back and listen to that. But rounding out our crew tonight is Kevin, my better half. How's it going tonight?
It's going great over here. Looking forward to whatever this conversation turns into. We'll see what's left of Frontierland when we're done with it. After Adventureland last time, we kind of gutted some of the rides out of there. So, yeah, we'll see what happens.
That is going to.
I guess we're also talking about. I forgot to mention we're doing a two, right? So we're going to talk about the pyramid in regards to Frontierland as well as our reimaginings as we go. So it's going to be different than the Adventureland series, where it's kind of a episode 1. Here it is with the pyramid. Episode 2 is us reimagining. This is going to be a 2-for-1. So this should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, combining it all. Because at this point, you already know about the pyramid. And chances are, if you are a Disney fan like we are, then your gears have also been turning about how the pyramid applies to other elements around the Disney resorts. So like Kevin mentioned, this is going to be a 2-for episode. And so you'll hear interweavings with the pyramid as well as our armchair imagineering ideas. So who wants to kick us off? I know we have a ton of ideas spread across the land. Anybody want to go first?
Hey, I'll jump into this. So, okay. I mean, it's a given, but I'm just going to, for those that didn't listen to the last episode, go back and check it out. But I'm going to bring in the same play I brought in last time for Disneyland. And I'm going to start off with something I shared last week. Frontierland gets annexed into Adventureland. And with that, I think goes the Golden Horseshoe. Gone.
We're already putting things on the chopping block?
My goodness.
Yes.
Really quick.
Well, I mean, I just figured it was a nice cliffhanger. And you know how the old school sitcoms would say previously on Imagine That, where they give you a little recap? I'm just tuning us in from where I left off last time. So, and then for anyone listening, they're like, wait a minute, what just happened? You missed an episode. So for me, that's where I'm kicking it off. I think Frontierland in Disneyland gets annexed into Adventureland because Adventureland, first off the word adventure, gives a lot more freedom to do things than mildly boxing yourself into Frontierland.
I was looking it up recently, and apparently over in Shanghai, they didn't put in a Frontierland. So I was trying to figure out what they did around the world at the other parks. Over there, they have Adventure Isle and Treasure Cove as like kind of like sister lands over there on the side of the park. It's on the right side of the park where you see Tomorrowland and our parks here in this coast or country, I guess. So it's just kind of interesting where they had the same feeling that you did of like, let's just go ahead and get rid of the Frontierland and put in more adventure. So that is one way to do it.
I'm getting rid of Frontierland too. In essence, I'm creating a land, so it's fine.
Do we want to talk about Frontierland first before we start cutting things out? I mean, again, we have the pyramid, we have the story, right? Step one is it all begins with a story.
Well, that's the thing, is it doesn't.
Yeah.
Again, Walt Disney had this as part of the Disneyland TV show back on ABC back in the day, where like he said that it is here in Frontierland is where we experience the story of our country's past. And obviously we have Main Street for part of the past. This is the different part of the past over here. Over at Walt Disney World, there's also Liberty Square, which is also America's past. So I know there's a lot of America's past in the Disney parks. Yeah, so it is interesting that we want to just get rid of it. I know that's what the Imagineers are doing in Florida, at least. At least that's what it looks like on paper, on the concept art that they've shown us for the Cars attraction being added to where the Rivers of America and the Tom Sawyer Island are today. The question is, will it still be Frontierland when they are done with their construction? If it even happens, again, the world's kind of weird right now, and no one knows what's really going to happen. Nothing has really got the ball rolling hard over there, so they don't knee jerk and stop that and just leave it the way it is. We don't know. We don't work for Disney. We're just giving our opinions on what's going to happen. But as far as creative intent, I mean, I know that Disneyland especially was built with kind of the idea of like making it feel like you were in a movie. That's how like we described Main Street, where you're going up the road there, and you have the credits rolling on the windows and all that fun stuff. Mm-hmm. At the time, 1955, Westerns were a huge deal. Like, if you look up the best movies from like the 50s and even the 40s, a huge majority of them are Western movies. You do that again for the last 20 years, I mean, you're going to see like Tombstone from 93. It's not the same vibe these days as it was back then as far as the love of Westerns. So I think if Walt had to do it again, he would see that as kind of a property that isn't as relevant. So I see why maybe the Imagineers are deciding to get rid of it. But yeah, I guess we'll just have to wait and see on all that. But for what is there, obviously, you do have the riverboat as your big weenie once you get into the land, leading to the other side of it. I think it's kind of true on both coasts. Over at Florida, it's a little different. Because I was noticing also, it's kind of weird where at Walt Disney World, Frontierland isn't off the hub like it is over in Disneyland. The hub is the area around the castle, like in front of the castle, where Walt described it as a hub with spokes going into the lands of Disneyland. And over at Disneyland, you have Adventureland, and Frontierland, and even Fantasyland and Tomorrowland, all just connected to that central hub. Whereas in Florida, Frontierland isn't connected. You have to go through Liberty Square or Adventureland to get to it. So it starts off as kind of an afterthought land, it feels like. So, yeah. So it doesn't have that weenie of the big sign up front saying Frontierland guiding you there from the castle. We saw a video earlier today where we're just looking up what's happening there today. And it was like a few days ago, this young lady posted a video talking about how the sign for Frontierland that you would see from Liberty Square has been missing now for like a year. So she's saying maybe they're not going to put it back. Maybe it's going to be a different land. They're just waiting for it. But I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
So I think that Walt Disney World is still a completely different ballpark as far as the storytelling goes in the park right now, because I mean, like you guys in Disneyland, we were talking about this a little bit before. You guys have Bayou Country now. They just kind of added Tiana's into, our park, and it doesn't really make sense with the storytelling. And for me, that takes me out of the element. And like you were saying, Kevin, there's not any really cultural relevance that is pulling people to that land. I think that it needs to be made way more interactive if you're going to stay with a Western expansion theme. So like I said, for me, I would make it like an S.E.A, like a full S.E.A excursion throughout the land. And like one of my ideas was actually, remember what was it? It was the interactive game you could play in Magic Kingdom, where Sorcerers of Magic Kingdom. So something like that, but you're being guided by members of S.E.A. And I mean, I like rethemed pretty much every attraction, and we'll get into those as we're talking about things, but to be S.E.A themed. I also think that it needs to be more fun for little kids, because there's some big rides there that kids are not necessarily going to want to ride or be able tall enough to ride. So putting in a play area for kids where they can play as explorers, or they could do like log building, or they can play like their, gold panning. There are tons of opportunities that where things for kids can be built in, things to make it interactive for the whole family. Doing like a trail where, you can collect like stickers as you go along, or something, and it doesn't even have to be done all year. It could just be something that they like, sporadically bring out, or being able to bring in new characters. Disney has this entire lore of S.E.A. Obviously, I talk about it all the time because I'm obsessed, but it's already built in, and it's built into Frontierland already. So like Barnabas T. Bullion is the backstory for Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, and his face is in the queue. So taking that and just blowing it up throughout the land and letting everybody become part of the S.E.A experience and get the opportunity to feel like explorers. I think you can still keep a lot of the Western expansion elements. You just plus them, make it more interactive.
Yeah, and Barnabas is in the Disneyland side as well. He's not in the queue, but he has a picture in one of the windows that as you go into town right before you disembark. He has a picture in the window. So it's a little Easter egg if you know that it's there, a little nod. But yeah, there is a ton of space in both Frontierlands to add those elements. I think that you keep the Rivers of America in both parks. You don't need cars there at all. And you keep the island, and that's where you have your interactive experiences. That I love that the kids can just run around and be free to explore. But I think we need more of a story there. And my retheming of the island in particular, on the Disneyland side, there is a fort that has been abandoned for eons, and it is about time that we bring a Big Thunder Barbecue Ranch back to Disneyland and put it on the island and make the island accessible all the time. Don't close it at night. Get rid of Phantasmic, because that makes no sense story-wise. And we don't need a C mode anyway. So keep the island open all night long. Have a nighttime adventure happening on the island, and have Big Thunder Barbecue Ranch be open breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Bring people back to the island. That is a capacity eater as well. Lots of things to do that you can interwork the Frontierland aspect to it. I have other interactive elements in there as well. Learning how to, do different things that you would learn, like panning for gold, like learning how to tie different knots, different things that you can do. Or I know Disneyland had like a Western day where there were characters that were, they had like a little jail cell, and there was a mission, and you can do that throughout. You can change it up by seasons, like you were saying, but make it so it is compelling to go to Frontierland and accomplish these things. If you wanted to tie a magic band to it, you could, but you really don't have to, because and especially if you have like a collector's item, some sort of gold coin or something that you're collecting, everyone would be down for that. So, yeah, that my big thing, keep the island. Keep the island, keep it open all the time, and don't close it.
I had a nighttime show as well, like that could have been added in. And it was like when you think Western expansion, everybody's looking up at the sky at night. So doing something with drones and like a star show type of thing. I didn't go too far into that, but that's where I agreed.
Yeah, but that would be fun, and having some sort of storytelling element where, you know, gathering around a campfire type feel where there's stories being shared, and you know, or even having a spot where you can, you know, have a camp like experience where you're making s'mores and doing all these things as if you were out in the wilderness.
S'mores
I think
carts.
that'd be really cool. With hot chocolate. It's very important.
I don't know. I don't
Are
want hot
s'mores-
chocolate. I don't want hot chocolate in Florida.
Are s'mores authentic to the frontier?
We're going to say they are.
Yeah.
It adds to the ambiance.
Right.
Kevin, we were just talking about making it more culturally relevant.
I mean, I don't think churros are culturally frontier either, but that churro cart in Frontierland kills it.
You didn't know they were making churros while they were like in their covered wagons and stuff?
Yeah, yep.
Churros are from Mexico. A lot of Mexico is part of our frontier, so it kind of connects.
Yeah. Man, but I agree. So I was not thinking of the island on Frontier when we were brainstorming this. So when I saw the image pop up, I was like, wait a minute, hold up. And I'm with Amanda. Now, to a fault, I think you absolutely gut Phantasmic. Get rid of it. Does the water features make it cool? Yes. Does the boat scene make it cool? Yes. Can you make it cooler? Absolutely. Does Disney have two prime real estates for a really already established show? Yes. In Disneyland, you have the Fantasy Fair Theater, and in DCA, you have home to what used to be the Aladdin show. We don't mention anything else from Aladdin until now. Doesn't matter. But you put Phantasmic in either one of those theaters, and you can make it work. Are some iconic scenes going to be missed? Yes. Does Disney have the magic to create others? Absolutely. I don't think we put a barbecue or food spot on the island. I think you open that up to be its own land. We did talk about bringing 100 Acre Woods to
that's a whole different storyline.
Wait a second. Are we going poo and honey here?
That was a clothing brand I used to follow back in the day. It's not bad. But I think we do something like that. Or an idea that I was even thinking of that really make it cool, because that island is in between Bayou Country, I guess it's New Orleans Square and Adventureland, and even kind of piggybacking off of Fantasyland to a point. You do see it when you come around that bend, and I think you take a page out of the Rescue Rangers book. And you have that whole new Rescue Rangers movie, and you create some new island where it's like Island of the Lost or something like that, where you don't know what's going to pop up on that island. And it will ruin the storyline a little bit, but if it's island like where you don't know what's on the island, I don't know. You don't know who's over there at any given time. Imagine a part of the land that doesn't make any sense, but since it makes no sense, it makes all the sense. Imagine walking on one side of the island and you got, I don't know, Buzz and Woody wandering. The opposite of the island,
they're honorary explorers for the day.
I think you still keep it Disney Pixar. You don't go Marvel or Star Wars or Lucasfilms or that. You don't need Darth Vader out there. You guys got your own land. Stay home. But for the cats that don't have much room to roam, use it. Have characters like Robin Hood out there, and just it's not identified to one land. And I've shared this on the Mad Tea Party a while back. We got to stop building lands with walls around them. Galaxy's Edge, you're never going to see Captain America over there. Avengers Campus, you're never going to see Darth Vader over there. Tomorrowland, you could probably see Iron Man and Darth Vader in, because guess what? That's tomorrow. You don't know. The rules are kind of bent. Create some fun mystic. Give us a goofy version of Villains Land over here, but it's the Land of the Lost, where you have no idea what's going to pop up. Now, if that makes sense, great. If it doesn't, that's because I got that idea roughly about 21 minutes ago when I saw the image pop up saying, hey, we can use the island. So that's completely off the cuff.
So you're suggesting the island becomes its own land.
Yes.
So it's not like Frontierland becomes this as well and transfers there, but it's only the island is the Misfit Island.
Yes, the island is its own land. And the reason being is because Frontierland would no longer exist because it's now part of Adventureland.
Adventureland. If I got ugly Sonic on that island, I'll be very upset. You guys have seen the Chip and Dale's movie.
Yes.
The Rescue Rangers. Yeah.
He's
terrifying.
Shout out to whoever made Sonic. They really doubled down on full Sonic. So yeah, we'll sell them to Disney for this kind of price. Make something on
the
that
ugly
guy.
version. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. A lot to think about there.
Yeah. No, I can see that. I can see that. I just when it comes to characters, I don't know. Like yesterday we were at Frontierland for research purposes, of course, and Jessie was there, and Maribel was there, and Miguel from Coco was there, and I was like so taken out of the story. We get back to like, what is the story here? But even Jessie, the brightness of her hat does not match anything else that's going on in the land, and it stood out like a sore thumb. And I was like, why is Jessie even here? I get character-wise, it makes sense, but it can't be the same Jessie that's over in Pixar Pier. You know, like we have to change it up a little bit. Like when you see Mickey, depending on where he's at the park, he's going to be dressed differently. The same should be true for this. Like we can't have shiny in Frontierland, right? Like so I really wish, like, if you're going to have Jessie, make her a little bit more like grungy, dirty looking, or like have a different outfit or something like that. Or don't use her at all. I feel like, because again, it took me completely out of the element of like what's happening here, and I don't understand Maribel and Miguel at all. But
no,
that's just me, I guess.
Sense. Maribel not as much.
Well, Maribel and Miguel, those are, and that's where the story for Frontierland gets a little lost here in California side is you have Rancho del Zoco, which is just oddly placed. It doesn't make any sense story-wise. It takes up a big footprint for a restaurant that very more often than not is dead, meaning all the seating. It's busy in the inside, but it's confusing to get into there for the average guest. Heck, it wasn't until a few years ago that I realized how to get into that place. But I think that's where the challenge comes from. But to Amanda's point, I kind of agree. I wish DCA was the home for Pixar characters, because Disneyland, a lot of the from Tiana on back seems to fit there because it has that Disneyland-esque vibe. As where Pixar characters, that's DCA.
So you just said Disney and Pixar characters should be on your island. Do you take that back now?
The island was themed to be confused. Frontierland, as it stands right now, as it stands today, I don't think so. But no, if you're gonna create that chaos world, absolutely bring it. But as of right now, it's not that. Right now, Frontierland is Disneyland side. It's like when you see Buzz in Tomorrowland. I mean, it's kind of unsettling, but then you have his ride, so it kind of works. But depending on where you see him, it's like, my backdrop to your photo right now is Pixie Hollow. So how's that making sense? Are you a lost toy in the grass, or are you here for Tomorrowland?
He's something she's tinkering with.
Well, but
It
then
might
again,
make
though,
more sense actually. Yeah. Than tomorrow.
wait till we get there. Wait till we get to Fantasyland because Pixie Hollow's gone.
Spoiler.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got thoughts on that. All right. Well, let's use this moment to take a quick break and hear from one of our sponsors. We'll be right back. Let's hear from Getaway for today.
It's been a great show so far, but who's ready for an ad break? Did you know that the best way to keep our shows going is by supporting our sponsors? So let's get to know more about the travel experts at Getaway Today. They've been helping to make vacation dreams come true since 1990. And whether you want to visit the happiest place on earth or to travel to Orlando for a most epic adventure, they are there to help. Are you trying to find out which hotel is your best option or which theme park tickets will work best for your visit? Are you concerned that you might need a last-minute change? No worries. Their travel experts will help you out. Looking to book a cruise but don't know where to start? Hey, they can help with that too. They will find the perfect cruise for your vacation, whether it's your first time or you're a well-seasoned cruiser. When you book your cruise with one of the Getaway Today experts, you will have a dedicated agent to help you every step of the way. They take care of the details so you can have the most fun. Getaway Today offers peace of mind travel, allowing you to cancel or make changes up to 72 hours before your trip. You will always have the most up-to-date vacation information, both pre-arrival and upon welcome. Getaway Today guarantees the best prices, with no hidden fees, and every time you book through Getaway Today, they will donate a portion back to a charitable organization in your area. And so far, over $4.5 million have been donated. So go ahead and dial 1-855-GETAWAY, that's 1-855-438-2929, and be sure to tell them that Walt's Apartment sent you. Or just click the link in our show notes for more information and the best deals to start your Disney, Universal Studios, or cruise vacation planning. What I'm trying to say is, if you like to travel, check out Getaway Today. All right, so now it's time to get back to enjoying that view from Walt's apartment. Let's get back to the show.
Absolutely. Be sure to check out Getaway Today for all of your travel planning needs, especially if you're coming out here to the West Coast and going to Medford, Oregon to see us at Rogue Comic Con, because we are going to be there on May 17th and 18th, and you should be there too. So if you need any help whatsoever planning your trips, go ahead and contact our friends at Getaway Today and make a whole trip out of it. Going to Disneyland, going to any parks in California, because you're already here on the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, speaking of West Coast, we're back in Frontierland. And what other points do we have to maybe plus this area?
Well, I was just thinking, we haven't actually discussed the attractions of Frontierland besides, I guess, the river. So on both coasts, we have Big Thunder Mountain Railroad as the current attraction. It's kind of like the headline, I think. Over in Florida, you also have the Country Bear Jamboree still. That's over in their Frontierland. It was recently redone with some Disney songs. I thought it was fun. I know some people are complaining that it's not true to the original, but what is true to the original at this point, right? As we've discussed already in this show. It's okay to plus things as we're talking about, because that's the whole idea. Is that Big Thunder Mountain out here especially was a plussing of the two rides that preceded it, and I mean more than two, because there was like the pack mules were even there, the stagecoach was there, in the painted desert area of Disneyland. There were so many attractions that it took over. And yeah, no, it is a classic. It is one of I mean, I think as far as intro roller coasters go, it's one of the best ones in the world, as far as on both coasts. It's the same ride. It's just flipped, apparently, according to that show on Disney Plus. It's the exact same track layout, except for it's a mirror version of itself. And yeah, I have no problem with that. As far as wanting to retheme it, I guess I'll see what you guys say. Because I mean, if you're going to get rid of Frontierland, are you going to get rid of the roller coaster as well, or are you going to turn it into something more adventure themed? Throwing in pirates, tikis. What are you going to do?
I already told you I'm going S.E.A.
Well, boy.
Yeah.
Are you saying what would we do to Big Thunder if it goes Adventureland? To be honest with you, nothing. I mean, it's the wildest train in the wilderness. Like, that's an adventure all on its own. I mean, you could leave that alone. It's still an adventure.
Still
I
gonna have a
would-
goat,
Or
Dynamite, and Rainbow Ridge.
You know what? If we need to make it adventurous, what I would do is I would just add nothing. I don't even know. Like, it's a
What
really
if-
dialed in ride.
now, wait a minute. If you are going to change it, you already got rid of Indiana Jones, and Indy does have mine carts.
No.
Do you change it to
No.
Indy? No. Okay. Just wanted to make
No.
sure.
You know, Indy's a great movie, but no Indy ride has worked. I mean, everyone says the one in Florida is not good. Ours isn't good. I feel like that would be what's the opposite of plussing it? Negatifying it? Yeah.
Just
That
to be
was
clear,
just
as of right
ruined it.
now, in Florida, all they have is a show over at the studio.
Isn't there
And
a
it's a
roller
good
coaster
show.
one? Who
Not
has the
in
roller coaster
Florida,
in Indiana?
No.
Paris.
Oh, that
So
was
they're getting an Indiana roller coaster where Dino
No, it's gonna
Land used
be-
to be.
It's going to be the same exact ride system as Dinosaur. It's just going to be themed to Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Which is what ours is on this
Okay.
coast.
Just horrible idea.
So,
Worst ride system.
so you're gonna have that ride for 4 months out of the year. Got it.
Yeah.
Like, is it gonna break down when it reopens? Like, hey, new reopening, gone.
You'll have at least 3 hours a day that it's open. It'll be fine.
All right. Fair.
And then you're gonna walk funny the rest of the day. So
It's
I do.
already the
I-
same,
Depends on-
the same layout, though.
That's what you get.
Like the Dinosaur is the exact same. It turns that at the exact same
Mhm.
times. It breaks at the same times. It's the exact same car.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to do anything to it.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Here's a way to plus and make it great storytelling. We take ours down and we just ship it to you guys. You guys can have it.
They have it. You just be giving them the animatronics.
Fine.
Which they've said that they're going to have different like visuals over there. So it's the only thing that they're doing differently.
Okay.
So for me, Big Thunder Mountain, we just add more storytelling into it. We make it clear that as you're going through the queue that you're being recruited to be an S.E.A. explorer, and there are lost artifacts inside the mine that you need to locate, and it gives you like things that you know you're going to be looking for. So just incorporating S.E.A. like insignia throughout the mine as you're going, treasure maps in the queue, stuff like that. And then just adding that storyline in. I don't know, I didn't think that far into it, but I think you keep the same system that's there for Big Thunder Mountain and then just add more to Barnabas's story.
So you're turning the roller coaster
You
into
have-
like a seek and find adventure.
I mean, that's
Right.
going to be too fast. It's going to be too fast. But yeah, I mean, essentially, but there's going to be different things that you're going to see the entire time. Think about like Mystic Manor in Hong Kong. It is Hong Kong, right? Yeah. Like you're seeing different artifacts every time you go through. You know, you're catching something different is catching your attention each time. So I think it gives it rewritability by having different S.E.A. treasures, but you have to get people to know the story first.
How do you recommend doing that?
I think characters need to be way more prevalent if you're going to have us like in the S.E.A. characters. They could easily incorporate a show into the land where you're telling different tales of explorations. And honestly, Disney can market S.E.A. way more than they do, and it doesn't just have to be in the parks. I mean, they have the comic books already. They have some of the comic books, but like writing children's stories, they can do tons of things, but make the story known. But then, see, that's when I'm like, well, I kind of like it being like this little secret, and like that it's something that they can easily market, I think.
Well, I think on both coasts, there is a lot of Frontierland that is wasted space. And you can absolutely have different storytelling elements of the S.E.A. or of any story. I mean, look at Pico's Bill restaurant at Walt Disney World. Like, it's their version of Rancho del Zocalo. Like, who knows who Pico's Bill and Slewfoot Sue are? Like, nobody.
Also represented on the Golden
But
Horseshoe.
yeah, this is right. But like, who? If you're gonna have a whole restaurant dedicated to somebody, you should have them somewhere else in the park, like in that land, to continue the story, and especially with a more outdated quote unquote character like that. So why not have Pico's Bill walking around, or just change the theme entirely to be someone from the S.E.A. Or anybody else. But I've always had an issue with that of like, okay, we have Pico's Bill, but who is he? You know, what's his story? What's his connection to Frontierland? And so, but you have to go and do that research, you know? It's not really provided to you in that same way. So I do think that Frontierland definitely has an identity crisis, and there's a lot of opportunity and a lot of space to tell those stories. But I do like having the rewritability of Big Thunder. You have to keep a big e-ticket attraction in the land for sure, and having the kinetics not only of seeing the roller coaster, the train go around, but also you hear it sometimes before you even see it, and that's really important too. And so I think keeping it as is, it's a great attraction all on its own, and keeping the bones of it is really, really important. But also you have the riverboat, the Mark Twain riverboat, and the sailing ship Columbia. And I think you can utilize those more as well, especially if I'm going to go back to getting rid of Phantasmic, because you can have different things happening at night as well. You can have different characters on the ships. You can have the ship and the Mark Twain going at the same time like they usually do, or not usually, not lately, but they should be on rotation. So you're having different characters come on and off the ships, and you're learning more about you know, their story and stuff like that. So utilizing those to their fullest potential, because those are big capacity attractions as well. You can fit hundreds and hundreds of guests on there at one time, and it's like 15 minutes around the rivers of America. So you can also add things along the river to help with that story also, and that's not happening as much. So
yeah, I mean, he also turned those into seek and find adventures as well.
You're saying you want another ad break to hear about where in the park? Is that what you're saying? That's what I'm hearing. All right. Well, let's do that, and then we'll jump to Luke, because I saw that light bulb go off. So I'm excited to hear what he's got to share next. Well, let's hear from Where in the Park.
Hey fam, what scavenger hunt are you doing?
Well, we are doing Where in the Park,
Do you guys know Where in the Park? Because we do.
We do.
So how you play this is that they give you a deck of cards with an image on it, and you get to look around and see where in the park that is.
And they're fun. So if you like to find stuff, this is what you need to do.
Amazing game. We're in the park right here.
If you're a seasoned Disney park goers, as we are, it's a fun, challenging even for the hardcore Disney parks fan.
We have played the Where in the Park games that we felt like, ooh, we got
Still
this
a
in
challenge.
the bag. Oh no, yeah, still a challenge, a fun challenge though, not an impossible challenge.
Check
Yeah,
them out.
they get really close to details, and you're like, I have never even seen that. I don't even know.
Where in the park have I seen that?
The great thing about these is that they're not in attractions and they're out in the open places. It's meant for families to play.
Besides people who've been there a lot, it's fun for people that are new to the parks as well, because you catch some of those details that you would probably miss when you're first going.
So there's images that you are finding on one side of the card, and then the other has the hint and the answer that you can reveal if you choose to.
Before it was just the hint and the answer, but now if you really want the land,
It'll tell you
they'll
where.
give you the land for an extra hint. You guys can take as long as you wish without the hint.
Yeah.
Without the hint, it's hard.
But that's what makes it fun.
But they do not just do Disney parks, obviously. What other parks do you guys actually cover?
Universal and all that good stuff.
East Coast, West Coast, and they're
Yes.
continuing to expand even more after that.
Check them out, whereinthepark.com, if you need to get some game packs. They are so much fun.
We appreciate We're in the Park.
They're awesome.
We love
Kevin and
that.
Amanda.
Get you some We're in the Park today.
Hell yeah.
Use promo code WaltzAPT Podcast to save 10% at whereinthepark.com.
Yes, definitely go to whereinthepark.com and get you some game packs for wherever your favorite park may be. All right, so before we took our break, Lou, I saw that light bulb go off. So what do you got?
Well, I'm on this theme of adopting, so I think we get rid of Big Thunder Mountain in the newly reformed Adventureland. We keep the ride. We're talking about retheming it, right? Well, do you guys, I know this is cheesy for Florida people, so you're going to hate this one, but we here at Disneyland know what's behind Big Thunder Mountain. And that so happens to be Pinocchio and Snow White's magical, what is it called? Enchanted Journey?
Enchanted Wish.
Enchanted Wish.
Enchanted
Well,
Wish.
if you're familiar with the original Snow White, the house is here, the mind is over here. What if Big Thunder gets annexed into Fantasyland and becomes a new version of the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train ride?
Man, you're just erasing borders and redrawing things all over the place.
If you're familiar with the Charlie Day meme, go follow our Discord. I'll post it there because that's me right now.
Man. So you're saying you want the line for Big Thunder to be like an hour and a half instead of 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to make sure I'm following. Just want to make sure.
Hey, Disney will love me because guess what? Those, whatever you're calling them passes nowadays, will be selling like hotcakes even more. I don't know if they changed the name again. It seems like every 6 months they're changing it. So
Get rid of that.
I mean, I think we're doing too much border change in here. But if the borders didn't exist, I can see it making sense.
Never mind.
Only Lou is changing borders up, for the record.
Yes.
I mean, you could move the line over toward the Fantasyland side. I mean, since it's going to be a longer line anyway. You could also move where the train station, like where the loading station is, to be closer to Frontierland or to Fantasyland as well. So it's not the craziest idea as far as like the ride vehicle goes. Obviously, the ride in Florida for the mine train is a little different than ours over here for Big Thunder. So I don't know if you'd have to change both, or you're just going to have the same train be part of the Snow White ride. But yeah, it's a wild thought.
I mean, just slap a dwarf on each train. There you go.
Call it a day.
Yeah. Hey. Sorry, I got distracted. I was making the reference on our absolutely free Discord. Little shameless plug there. But yeah, I don't see why it'd be a big deal.
Or would you keep the goat?
You got to keep the goat. You got to keep the goat.
He's not in the Snow White storyline though.
Well, there's some
He's an
animals there.
animal.
Yeah, there's animals.
You
What
could
you
have her
do?
sitting there singing to the goat.
You could,
Woodland
or you
creatures,
just
not goats.
You just take the dynamite out their mouth, and you put a bucket of apples in his mouth.
Perfect.
Done.
Yeah.
All right.
Or you have the goat holding Dopey by the britches. Just kidding.
All right.
Blue's face on that one.
Or hey, for all about IP slapping, it's not the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train ride. It's like Snow White's getaway vehicle from the 2025 Snow White film.
Oh my goodness.
Oh boy.
No,
Only you've seen it.
I'm just playing. I've seen it twice.
Oh.
So you know the scene better than we do. That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
So anyway, moving away from Snow White, what else do we have? Any other? I got like two more things.
And personally, over here, if I was going to actually go into Frontierland, I would put a show back into the Golden Horseshoe. That's my big complaint over here on this coast, at least. Yeah, I missed the review when they brought it back for like that limited engagement, the Golden Horseshoe review. It was a lot of fun, and I wish that was something that they actually did like all the time.
100%. Having not only the Golden Horseshoe review, but having live entertainment come out of the Golden Horseshoe to welcome the crowd in, draw the people in, and say, hey, we're having a show, or even have like a little mini show right out front with people on that second balcony. It really brought the town to life. And that's what I was referring to when I was mentioning the Western days. I forget the name of what they called it. Right? But it was so much fun because it was like how Knott's Berry Farm has their ghost town alive every year, where places from within the land that you see with animatronics and stuff throughout any other given day, now it's come to life and it's live actors engaging with you. And those little town shops are quote unquote closed because the shop owners are now talking to you in person. So obviously they wouldn't be in their shops. And so it really comes to life and they interact with you in a new way. And I would love to see Disney incorporate something like that. They have a ton of shop facades throughout the land on both coasts, and they can easily create these storylines and bring in more live entertainment and just have a reason to go there. Like I was thinking back to, Lou mentions Avengers Hallway all the time, and I thought about how that is with Frontierland. Sometimes you are just using that as a walkthrough to get to other places. You're using it to get to Galaxy's Edge, you're using it to get to New Orleans Square, or in the Walt Disney World case, you're using it just to get to Tiana's Bayou Adventure, which is somehow still in Frontierland, or just not going to it altogether because you don't really need to go back there because the Big Thunder is down right now. So
that was kind of where my thought was with the interactive game, like Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom, like I was talking about, making it something like that, because now people have a reason to spend time in the land, and it can be done very inconspicuously. A lot of the times you didn't even realize people were playing.
Yeah.
But and that kind of keeps some of the mystery and some of the lore to the land because you know about it or you don't know about it.
I found it. It was It was the Legends of Frontierland Gold Rush. It was back in 2014. It only lasted for like a month and a half, but it was a lot of fun.
I think that they should do like an adventurers or explorers day every month. There should be a weekend where they have people coming in teaching different skills, different characters to encounter. And if we're going to make it educational, give educational aspects to those things. If we're going to keep it Western expansion, teach about Western expansion, because kids these days don't know anything.
Yeah, because I remember they even had like little papers and stuff that they would be giving out, like today's news bulletin and that kind of thing. So you can absolutely weave that into the narrative. Yeah, I like that. Disney, if you're listening, bring back those days, please.
Just in Disney's defense. Oh, sorry. I was just going to say quickly, in Disney's defense, Disneyland has been so busy lately. I kind of understand why they don't have live actors going to people randomly, because it would be hard to tell who's a live actor and who is just another person there, especially when you have people coming in costumes on certain days. It'll get kind of confusing. So I am sure like that conversation has happened over there, as much as I want this more than I don't, obviously. But
I would argue you don't have Western themed dress up days like you do a Star Wars or something like that. So I think with Frontierland, it's one of the few lands that you don't have anything else going on over there. You know, nobody's dressed up in Western wear.
They do like the Adventurers Day like once or twice a year, but that's it.
Right, but that's more like adventure khakis, like type, and not.
And like I said, it's like a couple days a year. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, over here we have Adventureland Day and Tiki Land Day, I believe, or two different events. Yeah, they're fan events. They're not park events.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. So I can think like the only times when you would see people intentionally trying to wear Western, if we did see this reimagined in the park this way, would be some people might do something similar for Dapper Days, and then some people might do them for those Adventureland days. But that's 4 days a year.
Yeah, and that just wouldn't fall on one of the weekends that we do this. So yeah, that works out.
Over at Knott's Berry Farm over here, we do see people doing Western days and stuff like that. I was just there this last weekend, and there was a group dressed up all in really nice Western outfits that did not work for the park. They just happened to be there walking around. It's something that can happen. I'm not saying that it definitely will, but it's just something that I know the park has to think about as well.
But that makes sense for Knott's. Half of their park is a Western town. And again, they have Ghost Town Alive, which is 6 months? Like it's a long period of time where they have something going on for those days. So it makes sense to be involved more with it and dress the part. Lou, I think you had something.
Yeah, I was going back to like the printed stuff, and I know we just wrapped up our Adventureland episode, but it's little things like that are very cool. We just found recently our Jungle Cruise map that they used to pass out at the end of the Jungle Cruise ride, and just little things like that brings the kinetics into the parks. And just it probably costs Disney absolutely nothing to print a ream of those a day. And it's just little extra Easter eggs, little hidden Mickeys that we can utilize in the park. And Frontierland's missing a lot of opportunities like that.
I was just thinking too about the kinetics is they can, like if we do have characters in the park, they could definitely pull kids in. Like if they were doing like mini shows just on the streets and stuff, pull kids in. Make them honorary explorers, whatever, give them little pins saying they're part of S.E.A. You know, they pick one kid every couple hours. You happen to get caught It's kind of like getting to wake up Jose in the tiki room. But easy ways to get people to spend time in the land.
Absolutely. I dig it. All right. Well, let's take our last break and hear from Sunken City, and then we will wrap up with a couple more ideas and close out the show. So let's hear from Sunken City Design.
Sunken City Designs brings you art. Do you like art? I know I do. How about art based on Disney characters, like Mickey Mouse and the Oyster Thief? You know, that's actually from Alice in Wonderland, the best princess movie ever made. Also, we have some dwarfs that have their heads ripped off sometimes. Why? I don't know. It's because it's Sunken City Design. So go there, sunkencitydesign.com. Get yourself some great merchandise. You got posters and, I believe, clothes. Who knows? I got a cup from there, and it's fantastic. You like cups? Do you ever use those? I do. Go for it. Oh yeah, sweatshirts. Can't forget about those. You ever cold? Get yourself a sweatshirt from sunkencitydesign.com. Also, WALL-E. You know, that's the best movie ever made. Second only to Alice in Wonderland. All right, if you also like Walt's Apartment, they have merch for that too. Where? sunkencitydesign.com. Hopefully you've already loaded up that site and you're looking at it and you have some items in your cart. Go ahead and check out as soon as you can because the show's about to come back on. All right, everybody, we appreciate you.
We do appreciate Sunken City Design. Lou, what do you have on tap? What's coming up next?
Right now, the only thing left on the schedule that we have, so we got some prints going up to Rogue Simi apparently. Rogue City Comic Con. Rogue Comic. It's not Rogue City. It does. All right.
Jeez. That's what I thought too. I say Rogue City all the time.
Yeah, one day I'll learn how to English. And then on May 31st, the last day of May, I will be in Oceanside for the Sublime Sobriety Festival with the full booth setup. And as of right now, that's about it. We are working on merch for the website, but I am just wrapping up my school semester, so things have been kind of just stuck in the pipeline right now.
But still, lots of fun things coming from Sunken City Design. So be sure to continue following along on Instagram and all the things, and on our Discord. We keep mentioning it because we're always there. And Lou, I know you always post drawings and stuff that you're working on over on the Sunken City Design channel on our Discord.
Yep. Actually, I got some stuff from the art show that I just did. I won second place. Was not aware that I won, and it was pretty rad. I am now an official member of a gallery. I don't have all the details yet. I don't pay attention all the way, so probably should. I just draw in class.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Hey, thank you. All
right. So, in rounding out our conversation about Frontierland, I had an item on my list that we have not yet talked about, and that's bringing back live animals. So, back in the day, Frontierland had a petting zoo back by Big Thunder Ranch, and they had, where you can be up close with different animals that you would find on the Western frontier. And going back to the island, there's still plenty of room there for something like that. I mentioned in the Main Street episode about the horses and how the unpopular opinion of moving the horses and not putting them on Main Street for safety and sanitary concerns. The horses can do very well in Frontierland. Mm-hmm. So having them there instead just makes sense to me, and it would be a win-win. So what are your thoughts about that? Bringing back some animals.
I'm all for it. All for it. I thought about it. I thought about putting it in my list, and then I was like, Lewis is going to destroy that, so I'm not going to say it. Well, so I'm glad you did.
So wait, where would you put them? I'm still confused.
So there's a few different areas that you have space. One, there's still land in on the island itself. You also have patches along the river on the mainland side that you can place them. You have the space that has just there's currently a little body of water with fish coming out of it that is serving no other purpose with just a photo backdrop for Pocahontas sometimes. That can be filled in, or you can put the animals there. There's a few other little patches like that. We're not talking a huge area, but there's a couple of spots along there that you can do.
I mean, you can't put the horses on the island, I'm pretty sure, because like, how are you going to get them there and back? Because they don't stay like
You have a raft.
in like just the one corral. As much as I want to see one of those horses on a raft, I don't think that's going to happen.
Listen,
Yeah,
if a bear
might be
can
a
get
tad-
to the island, in Walt Disney World, your horses will be fine.
Horses can swim.
Just have them swim. Okay,
Yeah,
we'll
horses
swim
can
across
swim.
every day.
Before we
Dude,
get
we can
any
do it at
hate
Noah's
mail.
Ark show.
Why
We can put,
can't
like,
they
all the
just?
anim-
Oh, well, yeah. I guess it wouldn't be very humane to just keep them on the island.
So then we'll put them on the mainland. It's fine. There's still plenty of space.
I'm just throwing it out there. Before we close up, though, I did want to like
We
across
could
the
put them
world here.
behind what's big. We could put them behind Big Thunder Mountain. We'll just take that area. We'll finally know what's behind it.
We're talking about over in Florida. Okay,
Yeah. Why?
that's fine. 100%. Yes,
Yeah.
perfect. I want to talk about over in Paris. They actually have the biggest Frontierland over there, which we didn't talk about at all, where they have Phantom Manor, their version of the Haunted Mansion. It's huge, and their Big Thunder actually goes underneath the river to get to the island, and then goes underneath the river again to get back onto the mainland. It's a crazy ride. It's definitely the most intense
It's
Big
the
Thunder, I
wildest
think,
ride
in the
in
world.
the wilderness.
It's the wildest ride in any Frontierland for sure. Over in Tokyo Disneyland, they don't call it Frontierland; they call it Western Land, but it does still have Big Thunder over there. It looks the same as far as I can tell as the Walt Disney World version. And in Hong Kong, they have Grizzly Gulch instead of Frontierland, where they have the big Grizzly Mountain runaway mine cars, where I guess they go backwards. Where I haven't gone on it yet. I've been trying to avoid spoilers, but that's essentially what they have over there.
It's called
Wanna make sure that
Grizzly Gulch.
Grizzly Gulch. Yeah.
What does Gulch mean?
I'm sure there's a good, like a gold gulch or something. Is that a thing? Or a geyser gulch? I don't know. Let's look up. Hey, internet, what is a gulch? What is a gulch? A narrow and steep-sided ravine marking the course of a fast stream.
Sounds like
Oh,
it'd
so
be somewhere
like-
to fish.
Like Avengers Gulch.
You're in gulches all the
Oh
time,
my
Sam.
gosh, I am in gulches all the time. Lou, did you really just say Avengers Gulch? That's it. We're calling it that from now on. Avengers Gulch.
There you go.
There you go.
It's a narrow ravine.
So,
A
So,
hallway,
I
would
had-
you say?
Huh?
I said a hallway, would you say?
yes, absolutely. Every time I'm over there now, I think hallway. I'm hoping that with the new things that are going in there, that it will cease to be a hallway. But
It's going to become a hallway with a walk-in closet. I'm playing.
They're gonna add a river and it's gonna be a gulch, a stream, and it's gonna be a gulch.
yeah.
Okay.
All right. So I have one more thing, and that is at Disneyland, right when you go into the land from the hub, you have right to the left, you have tables. And those tables are reserved for pin trading. And across from that area is a trading center for pins. It's called the Westward Ho Trading Co. And it is a pin trading store. I would like to see the area to the right, which is currently a little kiosk for pins and a walkway that goes to the fantasy royal hall, the fantasy fair area. Block that off. We don't need the little side passage. We already have that walkway through Rancho del Zocalo. So put an area that is more so dedicated and themed to be for trading and bartering. Have that Western element to it, and not just metal tables, that you have a cluster of people right at the entrance. Kind of, it looks like there's a hustle and bustle, but you can have that in a more themed environment that is fitting to Frontierland, and have that whole area be open and
a trading post.
Yeah, a trading post. So that was my big thing, because we saw that again this past weekend, and I was like, this is, I understand the purpose of it, but it is taking you out of the element,
the story
in the story. So having a themed area dedicated for that would be great.
Which is weird they still do that, because I thought they got rid of doing that a little while back. Like, people were up in the air about it because Disneyland said no more. So I thought they got rid of that, but I guess not that seriously.
It's for the select few in designated spaces. So they also have it out in downtown Disney. They have a little area where you can be just for the trading of pins for the Sphere Pin Collector. But it's only at certain times, and it's only a certain number of people.
Gotcha.
So that's all that I had on my list. Does anybody have anything else?
I think I'm good.
Yeah.
I spoke my piece, so.
All right. Yeah. Well, we covered a lot, I think, about Frontierland and ways we can certainly plus it. There's some things to keep, but overall, a lot of room for improvement. And this is one of the original lands, right? And so it is near and dear to Walt in so many ways, and we don't want to see it go, even though some want it to turn to Adventureland, but that's fine.
Adventure New Fantasyland.
Yes, but both those lands were also near and dear to Walt's heart as well. So we'll let it slide. But if you have enjoyed this episode, please scroll down on your podcast player and give us that 5-star rating. And if you have an extra minute to leave a written review, we would so appreciate it if you could leave us a review. Share it with another armchair Imagineer. It just goes and tells all the podcast players that we're doing something awesome. And yeah, again, if you want to check us out over on the Discord, check out our YouTube channel. You can see our lovely faces and any visuals that we happen to share while we are presenting. Go over to our YouTube channel and check that out. But until next time, continue to place trust in the magic of imagination. And remember, the details within the parks surround us in our everyday lives. Imagine that. Have a good night, everybody.
Come to this happy place, welcome. Disneyland is your land. Here age relives fond memories of the past, and here youth may savor the challenge and promise of the future. Disneyland is dedicated to the ideals, the dreams, and the hard facts that have created America, with the hope that it will be a source of joy and inspiration to all the world.